how good of a mood have the White Sox put the south side of Chicago and the city at large, and just the way they coasted through that month with a winning record, 8 games above 500, and what was predicted at the beginning of the season by some, which is a top 10 offense?
It's a lot of fun, right? I mean, it's been a lot of fun. Taking care of business in the division has been a whole lot of fun. You took care of a Tigers team when they were down. I mean, shoot, Marshall, if you're a Detroit fan, right, or just looking at the AL Central and trying to make sense of things, you're looking at the Tigers coming into Chicago and thinking, well, you got Fromber lined up. You got a pretty good Cater Montero lined up who pitched really well. And this is your chance to kind of get things right and get a couple wins in the division. And sure, the White Sox are playing well, but maybe you can take care of some here. No, that didn't happen at all. I mean, the White Sox ran them up and down the floor. It was a couple of close games, but at no point did the Tigers really look put together. I was stunned by how disjointed that whole thing looked and how kind of panicky the removal of Cater Montero in the particular game, I think it was the second one, kind of felt. And then Colson Montgomery hits the no-doubter and ties things up. The White Sox are playing with as much confidence as anybody in the American League Central for sure right now, and that includes the Guardians, even though they might be, on paper, a better team. It's just every next guy has stepped up, and it's not a season where the guys stepping up, that next guy, are like, random cast off and, this kind of for the most part, they're people that they wanted to be part of this franchise for a good long while. I mean, sure, you've got your Randall Grichuk and everything like that, but this is a team that's got depth and has flexed it so far.
Well, and I think, Connor, they did what good teams do. The second the starting pitcher exits the game for Detroit yesterday in Montero, they take advantage of that bullpen, and then that's where they make the money. You see it, the Colston Montgomery home run, and then they add on to it with just enough insurance to get the job done. That's a mark of a good team, when the bullpen immediately is how they take advantage and are able to hang on and get the win.
Yeah, no doubt. You got to get to those, the seedy underbelly of a bullpen in a short series, in a 3-game series. The White Sox will try and do it again in a, kind of a, I always find these these kind of bookend series kind of weird. It was against the Twins at home, and then you got a series in between with the Tigers, and then you're back against the Twins. David Sandlin will face the team he debuted against in his second start, which is always tough. Not only does he have to come out there and make a second MLB start, but he's got to do it against the lineup that he dominated and has to change the prescription just a little bit. But you have to get into that, kind of meaty part of the bullpen if you want to make some hay, and the White Sox have done that. I think the other thing that they've done, Layla, and to pretty good success, is find the right pockets to deploy their own top bullpen, whether it's, middle of the ball game or a little bit later, or even using an opener. Grant Taylor's pitched against really tough batters. Mm-hmm. And Grant Taylor, for the most part, ain't been hit. They've got Sir Anthony Dominguez kind of rolling right now. And I've really been impressed with Tyler Davis over his last couple of outings. He's moving up the leverage ladder. And we haven't even talked about Brian Hudson yet, who's one of the best left-handed relievers in all of baseball right now, which is just kind of crazy.
Yeah, I want to stay on Grant Taylor if I can here, Connor, because he again, in the Saturday game, comes in the 6th inning against the Tigers, 2 on and nobody out, and he managed to get out of that. We've seen this Taylor in the 9th inning, saw him in that big spot in the 6th inning. All of this to say, is he still got a chance of being a starter next year? What is Grant Taylor going to be at the end of the day for the Chicago White Sox?
It's a great, fascinating question. I think the talent there is undeniable, right? It's the White Sox. I think it was Will Venable who was talking the other day, or maybe it was Zach Bob, the pitching coach, was talking. Grote, you know how it goes. The days all blend together.
I know.
He was right. He was sorry. The days of Grant opening in the immediate future are probably done. There was a lot of fuss put up about when he was opening. I thought it was a pretty simple case of this is a guy who pitches high leverage. The White Sox at the time weren't playing as well as they are now. You needed to guarantee the ability to pitch Grant Taylor, so opening was kind of the highest leverage you can guarantee. You can't let that closer rust away, like Steve Stone likes to say all the time. It's very true. They want to get Grant 100 innings this year. Period, end of story. However that happens, that's kind of the goal. Chris Getz has talked about this out loud, and what getting him 100 innings does is let your options for 2027 stay open. If you want to start him, if that's where things go, he's got the innings base to do it. That's critical. in what this team and this franchise needs to become kind of going forward. If you want to make him the nastiest, most fire-breathing reliever in the American League, you can do that too. We've been, I think, since 2015, 2016, the entire baseball has been going, oh, can you find your Andrew Miller, right? And sure, Miller was left-handed, but that's neither here nor there. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Can you find your Andrew Miller, your two-inning shutdown guy that can go every other day because he's got a starting pitcher's base and the whole thing, right? Can you find him? It's been a decade, and we're still looking for him. There's been a couple of guys that have taken that mantle throughout a playoff stretch or what have you. But what if that next guy is kind of right there? I think that's a really valuable option for them as well.
We're talking with Connor McKnight, and he has been witnessing firsthand just the way the White Sox have surprised everyone after back-to-back 100-loss seasons. Now here they sit, a season-high 5 games over 500, but they're without Munetaka Murakami for 4 to 6 weeks because of a hamstring strain suffered over the weekend. I'm going to give you the series, Connor, and you just tell me what the expectation should be in the month of June when you've got 3 at the Twins, 3 at Philadelphia. You've got 3 against Atlanta, 3 with the Dodgers, 3 with the Yankees, then the Tigers for 3, and then the Guardians for the first time all season before Kansas City and Baltimore to close it out. I mean, this month, it seems like if you can get through this 500, you're doing a good job.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, these are really tough teams in a really tough part of the schedule where your depth is really starting to be tested. The White Sox are hopefully going to get Noah Schultz back, and a healthy Noah Schultz back, which should help on the pitching front of things. I mean, we can just, in long stretches like this, the depth gets tested, especially in the bullpen. The White Sox have weathered that test up to this point, but that's not to say that they aren't, dealing with the innings and having to get through those and looking at the bullpen kind of, okay, here we go. We got to keep doing this. And the guys have stepped up and done it. Jacob Gonzalez looked good in his first game over at first base, both offensively and defensively. Both of his fly ball outs were hit over 100 miles an hour, which coming out of Charlotte is, he hit a lot of home runs, 19 of them in the minor leagues, a former first-round draft pick. And some of those homers looked like they were helped by the fact that you're playing in Charlotte. It's a hitter's paradise down there. And he comes up here and shoots a couple of 100 miles an hour, gets his first big league hit. If he can play first base the way he has in that one game, I think the White Sox have something they can deal with. But, whether it's Miguel Vargas, who's pretty quickly becoming one of the better third basemen in baseball, or Colson Montgomery, who's just crushing the thing right now. I mean, that was an absolute no-doubter the other day. He's got 15 home runs. There isn't another shortstop in all of baseball that's got 15 home runs. So you mix some of that up with the power. You get the on-base kind of additions that you have from Antonacci and Maidroff and even Tristan Peters a little bit. And you've got more than enough to keep afloat, I think. The key, I would imagine, in playing 500 baseball through that nasty stretch you just kind of walked us through, Marshall, is playing good defense. The White Sox have done that a little bit over the last 4 or 5 games, certainly against the Central. You look at the overall metrics, and there are definitely some places that they can get better, but they need to continue to play as good a defense as they can. Whatever that limit is, you got to be right up toward the top.
We are talking to Connor McKnight, who, as we understand, you are filling in for John Triffin during the series against the Phillies.
Nice.
I really like the way that they've utilized you in the broadcast, Connor. It's fun to see you come on at the top of the hour whenever the game starts, setting the scene and reporting on what's going on. And then to do play-by-play, that's a great opportunity, and I like how the broadcast has come together in this way.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to it. I've only been to Philly once before, and I haven't been to the ballpark. I was there for a wedding. I saw the wedding. I saw the Liberty Bell. That was it. So I'm looking forward to adding the ballpark to the list of Philly things. I think it'll be really fun to watch this team get a test. And for the most part, I think I've said my name correctly when staring into the camera last year and this year. So that's a big thumbs up.
Hit ball, go far in Philly. That'll be fun.
Do you bring former score guys Adam Harris and Dennis Gambino with you wherever you go? Because that's the way I picture it, Connor.
It's my contract rider. Yeah, it was the one thing that was absolutely on there. I need a center fielder. I need a second baseman.
Yeah,
I don't know where else to turn.
Connor, one piece of advice for you. If you can, get one of the cheesesteaks that they have in the visiting clubhouse. Just they do this all the time. It'll be the best cheesesteak you have. So get the full Philly experience in your first time at the ballpark.
Marshall, thank you. There have been several conversations on the flight and in unnamed local establishments here in Minneapolis about getting set for how to procure some of those cheesesteaks from the clubhouse. I think we've got a plan, but I'm going to give you a call in case we lose the thread here, because that's got to get done.
Wait, where are they from? Do they bring them in, or are they from the ballpark?
They make them in the ballpark, but it's all about the roll, Connor. It's all about the roll that it's on, which most sandwiches are about, if we're being honest. But yeah, if they've already had the discussions with you, you're in good shape. Just nod, say thank you, tip your server kindly.
Indeed, will do. And I agree with you. The sandwich, listen, a sandwich is a sandwich. You get the good bread, right? The good bread makes the sandwich.
Amen. The East Coast, the pH of as they call it, water there is top notch. Connor, this has been a lot of fun. And I said this earlier, I've called myself Luke Stuckmeyer. So, you are definitely not alone in your fight.
Thank you. I was once Chironed as Nick Shepkowski on a lower third on NBC Sports Chicago.
Nice.
And that I even typed that into the prompter. So that was on them. But yeah, I've been all kinds of different people across the years, and I'm just happy to be me now.
Yes. Well, I feel your pain. This has been a lot of fun, Connor. Thanks again for joining us.
Thanks, Connor.